Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me today is a brand new guest, Vin Kruttiventi, and Vin is contesting against a very, what I would call as a controversial congressman called Eric Swalwell. He is in the Bay Area, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. He's an entrepreneur. Now he has stepped into politics. He is fighting this congressional seat on behalf of the Republicans. And Vin, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskar, Sree. Glad to be here. It's an honor to be on your show.
Thank you so much, Vin. And viewers, I have seen Vin in the past. We have, crossed paths in a few events. And he has always been saying this, that he is going to be contesting in Congress. I think last time, one year ago or something.
It's been over a year.
Yeah. So we met and you were talking about this. And viewers, the important thing here is that California as a state is a solid democratic state. They say it's a very blue state. At the same time, events that are happening across the country are affecting Californians. In fact, it is unequally affecting Californians. Californians are taking some of the worst hits, in my opinion. In fact, people are beginning to make fun now in the East Coast. Oh, you're going to become like California. So we are becoming the bottom against which the rest of the country is being compared. So given the situation, there is an undercurrent of discontent among even the most die-hard Democrats. 2-3 generation Democrats, they are still not happy in the way that our own Kamala Harris as the Vice President and Joe Biden have taken this country. So tell me, you've been on the campaign trail for a few days. First of all, a few words about yourself and then what you see on the ground.
Yeah. So I'm a first generation immigrant, like 40% of all voters in my district. We came here looking for the American dream. And what defines American dream? We want safety and security for ourselves. We want good education for our kids. We want our communities to be safe. And overall, we want economic prosperity and happiness. Lately, what you see, we've been robbed of what we came here for. We came here looking for that, happiness, and now they open the border, they let millions of people come in, wherein all of us came in here legally, paid our dues. And this is putting a lot of economic strain. Now, with things like Prop 47, they made crime legal. So our small businesses are not safe. Our educational system, is really tanking. We're 45th out of 50 states in our education system. So we are paying all of these taxes to do what? This is home, and home is always worth fighting for. And that's why I'm running for you, running for all of us. And we need representation, we need a voice to make sure that our grievances are heard and we take care of our people.
Thank you, Vin. And viewers, I have to give you a bit of a backgrounder about the person that he is fighting against, Eric Swalwell. This man has been mired in a lot of controversies. One of the more significant ones is his relationship with a Chinese spy. I'm going to say spy because she came in as a student, but what transpired was she was indeed a spy, because once the FBI started moving in, she just disappeared without a trace. I don't know how that could happen. This happened a few years ago. But the interesting takeaway is Eric Swalwell was confronted by the FBI with the data that they said allegedly he shared intelligence information with the Chinese. I mean, I don't have to tell you who was the conduit. At the same time, he did not answer the direct question that was asked at him. Did you sleep with Feng Feng? He did not say yes, he did not say no. I don't know how that can be interpreted. Leave it to you guys to interpret that. Feng Feng is a very colorful character. She has ties with some mayors in the Bay Area as well as in the Midwest states. In fact, some of them, the FBI caught them with video evidence. So I'm not talking about somebody who's just, one-off deal. No. She was brought in with a plan. She enrolled as a student in California State, one of the Cal State campuses. Suddenly she was active. Within 9 months, she is being seen with all these fundraisers that congressmen and senators go through. Everywhere she is there. And suddenly now heat starts going up. Eric Swalwell somehow manages to escape the clutches of law. Not only that, after all this happened, this is like 4 years ago, after all this happened, what does Nancy Pelosi do? She appoints him to the House Intelligence Committee, if I'm not wrong. It's one of those committees where there is intel sharing going on. So you have a person who has not denied of the charges that have been laid at his doorstep. From what you said, Eric Swalwell, he has the right credentials for a politician. He has a degree, and then he goes and does a few years of service in the armed forces, and becomes I'm a patriot. See, this has become a template that people are beginning to exploit. I'm not against anybody who has done service in the army. That's all great. But if you start using this as a template, and then the opposite is what is showing up. Talk to us a little bit about your experiences. Have you had a debate with this fellow?
No, he's a chicken. He chickens out, but he never served in the army.
Oh, he did not serve in the army.
Served in the army. He was always a career politician. Okay. He was a city council member for Dublin, city of Dublin. Then he was the assistant Alameda district attorney's office, assistant prosecutor. And those are his credentials. Few months as an assistant prosecutor, few months as a Dublin city councilman. And Pete Stark was a really brash congressman. 40 years. People were really fed up. He was like really older. So people wanted a change from Pete Stark. So Eric Swalwell's parents were Republican, still are Republican. So he was a closet Republican. He registers himself as a Democrat, gets called the Tea Party candidate, but then all of the Republicans are supporting him, all the disgruntled Democrats are supporting him. He flips the seat. He's done nothing in 12 years. And if you look at his recent record, all he talks about is Trump, guns, and abortion. No policy positions. When you look at a congressman, what do you want your congressman to do? Congressmen should work for you, work for people. What he's done? Nothing. If you talk to other congressmen, they would say, I brought home the bacon. I brought so many billions of dollars. I've created this economic growth. I've created all these jobs for my people. He doesn't care. Because he's confident that a D next to his name in a deep blue state, he's going to get him elected. He can sleep with a Chinese spy. He could, lie his way out of it. He created the China hoax with Adam Schiff. But he thinks nobody's going to really look into it. So the framework of creating divides in the society and exploiting it is the extreme leftist democratic playbook that he's part of. Because he's closer to Nancy Pelosi's inner circle, he gets away with everything. Who, in a sane mind, after sleeping with a Chinese spy, gets put on House Intelligence Committee? This committee has the highest amount of intelligence after the President of the United States.
Nancy, why don't you just give the whole country over to the Chinese? Just asking you a simple question. This lady still wields enormous amount of clout. She still is a congresswoman, right? She has not stepped down.
Yes, she's running again. And look at the way she got Biden down.
Yeah, that's right. What was the famous line? You can do it the hard way or the easy way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and she controls Newsom, and look at what happened. Newsom is her nephew, I believe.
By marriage. Yes, yeah. I've done a separate episode on this, viewers. You can go take a look at that. I'll try to put the link for you in the references links. Over to you, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, and they think they can spend $24 billion in this state, but cannot account for a single dollar. Who's paying for it? You and I. Our tax dollars. This state was $32 billion or something in excess revenue. Now we are like $23 billion or something in deficit. I got to get my numbers right, right? And they cannot account for all the money spent in like homelessness or like trying to find a solution for homelessness.
And one of the problems that's facing all California residents is the steep hike in insurance premiums. Every insurance premium has gone up not 10%, 20%, 40%. So we are like, you know, what did we do wrong? I mean, it's not like we have been involved in more accidents or we've been sicker than usual. Yet all these things have gone up. So the only reasonable explanation that I can come up with is that Newsom is somehow trying to hit the middle class, the well-to-do people, to try and take care of all the illegal immigrant spending that is going on right now. One thing that I need to tell our viewers, I like Vin because he is putting his money where his mouth is. He has been funding this thing on his own, and that tells you that he is committed. He believes that he can make a difference, and you can. I mean, Eric Swalwell, like he said, he thinks that he has taken it for granted. Close to Nancy Pelosi, that means, you know, one of the big shots in Democratic Party is going to be just kind of, you know, guiding him, or under the wake of that, he can keep swimming. And also, he now has become, you know, House Intel Committee member. That means he's up for bigger things. Who knows? Maybe this time the Democrats may not come. But if you look at the future generation of leadership, it is people like Adam Schiff, people like Eric Swalwell, people like Gavin Newsom. All of these are the ones who are going to be ascending to the next level at the federal structure. So it is important that we find someone who echoes our interests, who shares our values. So I am telling viewers that I would like you to seriously consider who you're going to vote for. Now, is the mail-in balloting open now?
Yeah, the ballots dropped in 7th of October. So the in-person early voting starts on 26th. So people can go out and then vote in person if they choose to, or you can always mail in your ballot, and it's got to be postmarked by like November 5th. So one thing I want to get there is we're all busy, right? We don't get into details of doing our due diligence on who is really representing us. If you look at Eric Swalwell, he raises millions of dollars. What does he do with it? Foreign trips. So he's campaigning in Paris, London, Dubai, Miami. Campaigning. He's spending money on limo services, bottle services, clubs, steakhouses. This information is publicly available. All you have to do is go to fec.com, fec.com, type in Swalwell. Every single expenditure is campaign expenditure. So now there is a loophole, Franken-Laws, in the system. So the way these career politicians beat the system here in the US, unlike every other place where anti-incumbency comes into play, they have unlimited mail. So they send a lot of mail, both physical mail and email, on Congress budget. So he's using his congressional budget to campaign, which is illegal, and then he's using his campaign budget to fund his lifestyle. Do you really want this kind of guy to represent you? Our fault is that we are not doing our due diligence. Just sticking to a D and an R is not going to make our lives different. It's insanity to continue to do something and expect a different result. We are letting people rot on the streets. If you go to San Francisco, if you go to LA, what do you see on the street? Druggies rotting. We have to fix our economy. We have to fix our homelessness. It's inhumane. But then these guys spend billions of dollars and cannot account for it. Also, if you open the border, let millions of people come in, give them asylum, what are you trying to do? Create a uniparty system? Also, it puts a lot of strain. We have veterans on the streets. We cannot take care of them. We cannot take care of our own people, but then we put illegals in 5-star hotels and then give them these $10,000 Amex cards. When you and I came here, we worked hard. We've never been on welfare. Our community has never been on welfare. To that, I met one Indian homeless guy from Delhi in Fremont. I was like, seriously, like, this is the first time, like, I'm seeing somebody of Indian origin. He came up to me, he talked to me while I was campaigning. But this is going to start hitting us. We can't buy insurance because of the forest management policies of this government. All of the utility companies are getting sued because of the bad policies. We pay the highest gas price in the entire United States.
Yes.
Right? Now they're going to increase it more.
So the joy and pleasure of living in California, that California dream is fast fading, viewers. Many big companies are also leaving San Francisco. Twitter is the last one. It left, completely shuttered its iconic building in San Francisco downtown, and it has moved to Texas. I mean, Elon Musk is really leading the effort here. He has got a few engineering teams left of Tesla, but the rest have already moved. Now, one thing that you are an entrepreneur. Talk to us a little bit about your entrepreneurial side. How you started your own company, how it was successful, and at what point you decided that I need to do something for the society that made me what I am.
I have a technology background. I was working as a consultant, doing digital transformations, business transformations. Then one day I decided to go independent, and then that's where my journey started. Then I started my company, and then I started growing it. I've started a lot of other startups too. Some small, some big. Some took a big hit during COVID. So during that time, I came to a realization that a lot of businesses couldn't make it. And most of the ones that got really hit were small businesses, mom and pop stores, right, and small retail. So I started helping these companies turn around. I created a nonprofit for my family, and then we started to turn around all these struggling businesses. So some not just survived, they flourished, right? They came up. And when we start to affect that in a small way, or help people in a small way, the thought process was, if I could help 10, 15, 20 businesses turn around, what can we do at a national scale? Our country really is fueled by small businesses. 45% of the entire economy is small businesses. And fun fact is that 45% of all small businesses are owned by women. 19% are minorities, and 5.5% are veterans. So by taking care of small businesses, you're directly taking care of your women, minorities, and veterans. It's as simple as that, right? And Swalwell, out of all the people, he voted no on a lot of nonpartisan bills that would have reduced the insurance costs for small businesses, that would have made them more secure, got them more funding, and this guy is out of his mind. I was like, how can we really elect somebody who's working against the interests of the country, interests of the people? And we have to really get out of the shell of looking at everything as a D and an R. In fact, I go to the extent to say, in deep blue states, vote R. In deep red states, vote D for a change, so that you hold all of these career politicians accountable to make sure they do the right thing. They're taking people for granted.
Yes, very true. I completely agree with you. My congresswoman, again in her 80s, doesn't even give the time of the day. I've never seen her face so far. I've been a voter for a good part of 20 years now, so 10 elections. Never once has this person stepped out of her house and come. And one or two times that I have actually connected with her via emails, the answers were, you wouldn't believe it. It's offensive. And I'm an inventor from a past life, so I've some of the legislations that she supported essentially weakened the hand of the inventor. And Silicon Valley is full of inventors. right? But anyway, that's something that happened 15 years ago. So I know exactly what you're saying. These deep blue Democrats, it's time they are shown the mirror. And dear Democratic voters, think about your future seriously. The way the country is progressing right now, do you think the Democrats are the best choice? I'm not saying you should vote for Vin because he's running on the Republican ticket, but just think about yourself. For your children, for your grandchildren, is this the right path this country is headed towards? I mean, for me, I completely echo Vin's thoughts. I came here because of the meritocracy, that there is a system in place and that system works. There is a system in place in many countries. The system doesn't work. That's the difference. In America, the system works. So this is where it's really, really important that we put weight on our vote and vote for the prosperity of first. You put yourself first. It doesn't matter. First yourself, your family, your children, your grandchildren, then your state, then the country. In every one of these things, you need to start applying these thoughts. I'm sorry to go on a rant. When I don't normally do this, I give you the space, but I feel strongly that you brought out a lot of things that will benefit the society. I couldn't agree with him more on the SME stuff, small and medium businesses. You look at any small strip mall, everything is an individual mom and pop business or a small family owned business, and everybody took a huge hit during COVID. So we're coming out and we need the right kind of assistance. And I'm really hoping that you go to Washington and that hopefully this time, if everything goes right, I'm hearing that the Republicans will be back. They'll have a majority in the House, they'll have a majority in the Senate, and they will have a Republican president. If all three line up, then some real reform is possible. And I wish you all the best, Vin. If you want to say something in conclusion, go ahead and then we can wrap it up.
Yeah, what I want to say is look beyond the national politics. Look beyond Donald Trump. In his defense too, we had no wars. Our economy was booming. But if you keep all of that aside, the polarization aside, what has Democrats done for you? They talk about abortion, but there is no elected Republican that can ever do anything to curb it in California. Your guns too, we've got the strictest gun laws in the country ever. So just going back and then creating that false narrative and rhetoric is dividing the society. Look beyond all of that, because at the end of the day, they don't matter. Because there is a law in place that nobody can touch. Nobody can take away your rights if you strongly believe in those. But vote Republican for one time, and then see how much of a positive difference we can make. Thank you.
Thank you so much, viewers. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Thank you so much, Vin. You've been most cooperative. I mean, I made him come down from his busy schedule to do this interview, and I'm really, really thankful, and I wish you all the best, my friend.
Thank you, Sree ji.
Thank you.
It's an honor.